We have several important news about Tesla to report today. The big one is that Tesla just now released Actual Smart Summon. This feature is part of full self-driving and now lets you literally summon your car from anywhere and it'll come to you. We'll watch a couple of videos that are incredible as we watch the car know exactly how to get around roundabouts and obstacles properly. I think this could be the viral moment we've been waiting for. Second, the sales of electric vehicles in Norway has now reached a whopping 94% as of August, and Tesla's Model Y led those sales with about 19% of the market. Elon Musk replied saying he agrees that where Norway goes, the rest of the world will follow. Third, a new report by S&P Mobility has shown that Tesla is again the leader in brand loyalty with a rate of 67.8% for the first half of 2024. So despite reports from media outlets like New York Times saying Elon Musk's politics is turning off owners, this doesn't seem to be the case at all. Fourth, Elon Musk just announced that xAI was able to bring on board their new 100,000 H100 training cluster online in just 122 days from start to finish, calling it Colossus. He says it's the most powerful AI training system in the world. Absolutely amazing. We've got Hans Nelson joining us. Hans has his own YouTube channel, Hans C. Nelson, and he's one of the people I turn to for FSD and AI. Thank you so much, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
Let's go through this. This is a big one, right? Actual Smart Summon. It's here. This is something we've been waiting for. So they've rolled this out, this new version of version 12.5.3. Looks like we skipped a few dot point releases going straight to that. It's starting to release the hardware for cars, and it includes Actual Smart Summon. This is the software update. It says here, buckle up for the ride of your life, except, surprise, you're not in the car. Actual Smart Summon is allows your vehicle to come to you or head to a spot that you choose all on its own. It's like magic, but with more tech and less wand waving. And then they call it Dumb Summon, allows you to move your Tesla forward or backwards with simple controls directly in your mobile app. So after years of waiting, the officially Actually Smart Summon is here. This is the next gen, right? Because they did roll out Smart Summon a long time ago. It was, just slow as whatever, and now it's here. So Elon said Actual Smart Summon is just through the roof. You got Ashok Swami, the director of Autopilot, also very, very excited. Who's ready for some ass? I can't believe he said that. And of course, he said Actual Smart Summon. So you got these guys very, very confident about it. And I'll play some videos. But before I do that, tell me what you think about this release.
Yeah, well, I would go back and say we did have Smart Summon, and there's a reason now that they call it Actually Smart Summon, is because when they originally released Smart Summon, it had some issues. And so they then had to kind of roll back the feature set on that and turn it from Smart Summon into what they now call Dumb Smart Summon, so that they could continue to develop this. There are just a number of technical challenges in really executing on the goal of what actually Smart Summon is supposed to provide to someone, which is, hey, it's raining outside and you are at the front of a store that you've been inside and you want to summon your car directly to the front of the store to pick you up so you don't have to walk out to it in the rain, something like that. Or, hey, I'm going into the store. I'm just going to get out in front of the store and I'm going to tell the car to go park itself. And it can deal with all that hassle and nightmare, and I'm just going to go inside. So that level of functionality obviously has a lot of value to people, but executing it had turned out to be significantly more difficult than Elon originally anticipated. And when they first started to roll it out, they ran into some challenges. So it's great to see this now reaching a priority level and getting it back in the hands of customers. I think this is a huge piece of the final, requirements of a system that can operate eventually as a robo-taxi, that you need to be able to handle your parking lots. You need to be able to handle all of the off of the main road scenarios well. And so that's, basically this is the last operational domain that we didn't really have a product for yet that was released to customers, and we are now seeing it. And so hopefully we'll see it continue to succeed and we don't, hit the ceilings again in performance that cause us to have excessive continued delays. I'm sure there will be, bumps and hiccups along the way and some challenges. But hopefully we can continue to increase the number of users that have access to the system, the number of scenarios where it works pretty consistently for the next 12 to 18 months.
We'll watch these two videos and you can see that it's actually really, really good. This just came out last night, and so we're going to see more videos today, but it's very impressive. And then, by the way, I just bought a brand new Tesla Model 3, hardware 4, and my driveway is a curvy driveway. And you can see it, it can see it. So it knows it perfectly. And so there's no reason why the car wouldn't be able to summon through that easily. Even though right now it's not doing it, but I think they will do this now that as soon as we get off today, I'll be testing this myself. So let's take a look at some of these videos.
All right, this is my first attempt with Smart Summon on the Hardware 4 Model Y. You can see it over there. And there's a concrete barrier separating me from the car. So it's either going to have to do a 3-point turn and come around this way or go all the way to the end of the parking lot. So you can see on here, the cameras are displaying a live view. I'm just going to hold come to me and see what it does.
So you have to press the button, come to me. This is AI driver, by the way.
Camera, I just want to keep my eye on the car. Oh, it looks like it's choosing to reverse.
This is actually a brilliant test.
Yeah, it's going to do a 3-point turn.
Because he's standing on the other side, so there is a barrier.
Ooh, it's really quick with the shifts, just like Auto Park is now. That is nice. Sorry, sorry, I keep glancing away from the camera. I'm so excited right now. Is it going to go all the way around? Yes. Yes.
See how fast it drives now? It's not so slow.
Way quicker than old Summit, I could already tell you. Here it is. Oh, interesting. It has the rear fog lights on. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I think it's done. Here, let me, I'm going to summon it. I'm going to show you on the app here. You actually have a fairly long range. I don't know if you can see this, of where to choose to summon it to. So I'm going to go ahead and just have it drive to the end of this parking lot so you can see what I'm talking about here. But it looks like the rear fog lights turn on. Yeah, can you see that? Those red lights right here are normally not on when you're driving the car, and they're very bright.
Oh man, look how fast it drove there. So you can pick,
oh my
you can press
God,
your finger.
Ass is here, you guys.
Tell it where to go.
It's here. All right, I'm gonna have it, now that it's all the way down there. Yeah, and it actually stops really fast when you take your finger off the thing here. I'm gonna have it come to me again, and I'm gonna stand over where I summoned it from the first time. So it's actually gonna be pretty long range now. It's way over there. And I'm gonna keep my eyes on the cameras. So I'm just gonna hold come to me, and we'll see where it decides to go. I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the camera. These shots must look terrible. I'm just so excited. Oh, it may not look very fast in the camera, but that thing's moving quick. Way quicker. I've used the old Smart Summon quite a bit. Actually, Smart Summon is a bit faster. Here it is. Wow. Wow.
Are you back? Hans, I'm here. So it's pretty impressive. This is quite cool. This is AI Driver. AI Driver has a good YouTube channel. He's on X as well. He is one of the best. Like we follow a lot of his drops. This came out last night, and this is fantastic. It drives. Now, there's nobody around because it came out late last night, but great test. I want to see it with lots of people. But what do you think? I mean, I've got another video that he dropped about roundabouts, but before we do that, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I mean, what you're essentially witnessing now is the ability to remotely control, kind of, just like with really very abstract commands like, hey, I'm here, you're there, there's no one in the car, drive from wherever you are to wherever I am, and not just drive there on an easy to define route. The real challenge with actually Smart Summon is, when you're driving around most parking lots, you've never been in that parking lot. You don't know exactly how they're laid out. You just kind of figure it out from context clues as you go. And that's the thing that makes them difficult for an AI system to decide, how am I going to get from where I am to where I'm going, and having that freedom to just kind of explore the space and go. But take a very natural path is exceptional. And like I said, there are major technical challenges in accomplishing what it is that actually Smart Summon is accomplishing now. And I think there are some other things that we can get into later that it really gives us a window into how they're going to handle things like remote operation when they're doing, or remote monitoring for the when we have a
Mhm.
robotaxi fleet, and there has to be somebody who can handle those few exceptions, whatever they are. The way that they're handling actually Smart Summon is probably a major building block for what they will do in those remote monitoring and remote operation situations as well.
But take a look at this. I just stopped at this. That's fantastic. So this is obviously a view. Maybe it's a Google Maps. Somehow they're getting this, but it knows this parking lot really well. That's pretty high definition. Okay, let's watch the other video that he dropped of roundabouts.
Doing another actually Smart Summon test. You can see where the car is parked. I'm going to go ahead and walk to the left side of the street over here. But what you can't see is this is actually one giant roundabout. So, oh, it just locked. But you should definitely not turn left here. And you should go all the way around the roundabout to pick me up from right in this spot. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the car.
How would it know
See if it
that?
decides to do something naughty, or if it knows that it
How
should
would-
not turn left into this roundabout. Just went into reverse. Right. It's pulling out.
Might have seen a speed bump.
Right. It's not. Look at it go. It's going to go all the way around the roundabout. Oh my
Wow.
God, no way.
How did it know that? Was there a sign? I think there might have been a sign that says turn right only.
Yeah, that will be
Here's the
just an
live view from
interesting.
the car. And it's just driving over there. Oh my
Piece
God,
of
this is
information
incredible.
technically.
I'm literally getting chills right now. This is weird. This is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It is really good. It's taken a long way to get to you, but it knew that it's a roundabout and knew that you're supposed to turn right. It's crazy because this is like some random parking spot, parking lot that he found. That how would this car even know this place ever? Unless it's got data from other Teslas that's driven around this area before, right? That's one way.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I think, a big question. Have they gone
Unreal.
through some very
And look,
large
it's even
mapping
pulling
exercise?
over a little bit. Oh my God. Unreal.
This is going to impress. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been saying this for years that once actual Smart Summon goes, it's going to be the thing that's going to go. It could be the ChatGPT moment. I don't know, but because imagine all the people watching a car driving by itself in a parking lot, and it's going to be videotaped. It's going to be on Instagram. People are going to go, look at this thing. This thing's driving by itself. There's nobody inside. This could be it. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yep. And it'll be very, I think the way that they solved that problem also is important because it has major implications either way. I mean, you can imagine that either this car is essentially figuring out this situation like it's brand new from scratch and being able to make essentially the right decisions, for a long period of time in order to do that, or that they have gone through some very large mapping exercise to just say, here, like, it seems like a big problem on the one hand, but then on the other hand, you realize, if you've got a big enough cluster, sure, you can just ingest satellite data of the entire United States and you can map every single parking lot that is visible from the sky. That's a thing that could be done. Have they done that in order to provide this functionality? I don't know. I mean, one of the things that doesn't give you is it certainly doesn't give you how to navigate every parking structure. And so, then how do you get that data if you're relying on some sort of a structured map in order to make these navigation decisions? So I look forward to hearing more about how they've gone about solving this, because either way, like I said, it's going to be interesting and exciting. And it has implications for how fast we move forward from here. Because if this
Yeah.
thing really is smart enough to just encounter any parking lot
Yeah.
essentially for the first time and figure it out, that implies a level of intelligence that says, man, we're a lot closer to full robotaxi
Yeah.
than, a lot of people would probably estimate at this point in time.
Exactly. Pick up and drop off. Okay. One of the last remaining features that need to come out for Robotaxi, or at least feature complete for FSD. So it did take 2 years. Elon said in October 2022. Actually, Smart Summit is almost done. This is 2 years ago. And Omar goes, yeah, 2 years really flew by. Tesla Scope just reported that we did just skip directly to from 12.5.1.3 to 12.5.3. That's where we're at now. So everybody's going to get 12.5.3. We don't know yet if it's going to go to hardware 3 yet, but it's very likely it will. Significant leap forward, and signifies Tesla's positive feelings on this build and future builds. Is my vehicle eligible? Tesla Scope says, well, only a small 0.001% won't be able to do it, but everyone else, it is eligible to get this. Is it just hardware for only? It's too early to determine, but it makes sense that it's going to be both. So which has 12.24 currently. So just to clarify what it is. And then right now it looks to be only hardware 4, or people are now calling it AI 4 only for now. So let's talk about the next story here. Norway reported that they have electric car sales is now 94% share. 94% of all new cars sold in August is an electric car. I'm sorry. Yeah. As of August, 94% of all market share, the whole thing is everything they're selling now is, Tesla Model Y, by the way, is making up 18.8% of the market. Huge win for that. If this trend continues, we'll soon achieve the target of having 100% zero emissions fleet in 2025. Elon said, wow. Omar said, as goes Norway, so goes the world. Nick Cruz Patain said, Norway's killing it. 94% of new sales were EV in the month of, new sales. And then Tesla's at number 1. And then Elon said, true, right? As goes Norway, so goes the world. Wow. What do you think about Norway?
It is an interesting, single data point, as especially something that gives us a preview of what the future trends are going to be. I think there are a couple of very specific reasons why Norway is such a leader in this. One of them is that they have pretty large income that they get from their oil and gas industry, and they're using the income from that at the government level to subsidize the purchase of these EVs. And so, Norway has a very generous subsidy program in place for EVs, which is one of the reasons why EVs are being adopted there so quickly. The other thing is that Norway, they just drive less than we do here in the United States. Probably fairly average, I would say, for Europe, although I haven't really looked at the data deeply on that. But it says something to the effect of 7,500 US miles to 8,000 US miles, or imperial miles, is what someone in Norway would drive on a yearly basis. In the United States, it's more like 13,500. So
Right.
not quite double, but, roughly double-ish. And so that makes the range anxiety piece of should I or should I not adopt an EV something
Right.
that's a lot easier to stomach in an environment where you're just not driving as much. And then especially in that cold weather climate that they have. So I don't know that I would say that the success of EV sales in Norway necessarily means that EV sales will succeed in Alaska without some significant technological development and improvement there. Just because the lack of infrastructure in Alaska is going to make it much harder for you to get where it is that you need to go compared to somewhere like Norway, where it's relatively densely populated. Yes, it's cold, but there's EV charging everywhere, and so all of those pieces have to be in place in order for this to really work. In Norway, all of those pieces are in place. And I think, but if you zoom back out, I still agree with Elon that eventually we will have all of those pieces in place for the vast majority of the world. And, over time, we do get to a future where the vast majority, if not essentially 100% of new cars sold do become electric.
And then this is the report. Nick Cruz-Patain also said, yeah, you're going to be reaching close to 100% by 2025. The average winter temperature in Norway is -7 degrees Celsius, but can easily drop to as low as -25 degrees Celsius. The myth about how EVs don't operate in the cold is just FUD. He shared this photo of a car in Norway, I guess, filled with snow, and it still works. So this idea that I did see another report recently saying that electric vehicles actually, opposite of what people think, performs better in hot climates than gas cars. So
in hot climates or cold climates?
I think it's hot climates is the one I read, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, some specifics about the technology that make them better suited to one climate than another. But really, these are all just technical challenges. And Tesla's octo valve, heat, thermal management system, just the whole thermal management system in general. But really, you can see the great example of engineering that the octo valve itself is an incredible technical solution to that problem that allows these cars to just have really very, very good performance compared to what people thought was going to be possible with EVs. And yeah, like as long as you don't have to drive hundreds and hundreds of miles between charging stops in the cold, then for normal everyday use, in a small town, it doesn't matter if it's -25 degrees C. You can still handle that with your EV.
Next story is Tesla's brand damage. People think that Elon talking about politics is causing a lot of brand damage. Well, this most recent report says no. Tesla is still the number one brand damage or leader in brand loyalty. That's what a report from S&P Global Mobility says. It's odds of what everybody's saying. S&P Mobility in their report showed that Tesla is the number one leader. They have a rate of 67.8%. And if you look later, they'll say that most other cars are much below 60%. Customer loyalty has remained relatively constant. It's a brand with strong loyal ties among their consumer base historically, despite just having this limited product portfolio. So let's see, as customers staying loyal to the brand, right? Amid a constant drumbeat of media criticism of Elon Musk. Reports from media outlets like New York Times say that Musk politics is turning off owners. But according to this report, we don't see it in the data. There's some decline in Tesla's loyalty for the first half of 2024 versus 2023, but it's below 1 percentage point. Tesla is clearly beating other brands. The brand still remains the industry leader by a healthy margin. The average is at 52.5% for the industry, and no other brand has a loyalty rate above 60%. So Elon said, great product results in great brands. And basically, you build a really good product and it doesn't matter what the CEO is doing. Now, obviously, we're hearing a lot of people say it does matter. People are not buying Teslas, but it just seems to be not as blown up as people might imagine.
Well, I mean, you can certainly imagine why, writers at the New York Times will say what it is that they're going to say. The question is, does the data bear it out? Seems like no. And I think that especially in a market where the stock price of Tesla hasn't been doing as well recently as the most bullish of investors would like, then there's lots of reasons you can cast about for to try and justify, okay, why are we struggling? And if the solution to the stock price not being as high as they'd like it to be is something as simple as, hey, CEO, stop saying XYZ on Twitter, then that's a lot easier fix, hypothetically, to make them money than doing the hard work of solving full self-driving at scale across tons and tons of different jurisdictions. And I think it is that larger technical challenge that is the real underlying reason that it seems like we're kind of developing as a company more slowly than people would like. And I think that people just really underestimate the amount of legwork and groundwork that goes into the future of the company as Elon now sees it. I mean, it just seems to me like at some point he aligned with Kathy Wood's vision of how the automotive portion of Tesla, will set aside Optimus robots, is going to play out. And he's been, organizing the company's efforts in that direction. And that is somewhat of a departure from what he was saying, back in the late 2010s regarding trying to sell 20 million EVs by the year 2030, that it's much more important now for him to really have a massive fleet of autonomous robotaxis. And the specific number of those robotaxis is a little bit less important than the fact that they are operating and that they are the global leader in that space. And so it's just taking time to fully flesh out that entire vision and ecosystem, both from a software standpoint and from a hardware standpoint. And so, I think that will once again win the day, that brand loyalty of new car sales to consumers is ultimately an irrelevant metric to the future of Tesla as an investment. And people that are pointing to that either positively or negatively, I think, are a little bit missing the forest for the trees.
Thank you for that. Yeah. We'll see if it continues, but it's looking like it's no impact at all. We'll see what happens. So this next story is right up your alley, right up in your wheelhouse. We're talking about AI and this supercompute power that both Tesla has and what xAI has. So last week, Elon released this video of the supercompute cluster in Tesla's Giga Austin. Thank you. Yep. And they're calling it Cortex, and it's massive, and it's already getting up and running. But today, Elon announced that basically that xAI has now brought their supercompute cluster online. They're calling it Colossus, 100,000 H100s. But a couple of really important things. First of all, it only took 122 days from start to finish. We'll talk about that. Secondly, he's calling it the most powerful AI training system in the world. This is the most powerful AI training system in the world. That's what he's saying. And then it's going to double in size in a few months. So, that's crazy. Excellent work by our team, NVIDIA, and our many partners and suppliers. Sean McGuire pointed this out, that in the last few weeks, right, Grok 2 catapulted to being roughly at parity with the state-of-the-art models. Grok 2, obviously, it was created by xAI. It's their chat bot, and it's going to be what's going to power the humanoid bot, the Tesla bot. It's going to power our cars and robotaxi. But they're talking about, that by Grok 3, Elon is saying that Grok 3 will roll out by the end of this year. So in just a few months from now, 3 months from now. And it's going to be the best. Right now, Grok 2 already, by the way, Elon said, yes, that's correct. It's already the best. Grok 2 is already right up the top in terms of performance. They're already close to Gemini and ChatGPT 4.0. And here's another example where if you look at the scores, it's really Grok 2, Grok Mini, they're doing really, really well compared to all the others in various ways to think about it. So what do you think, Hans? I mean, this is... which one do you want to talk about first? The most powerful supercompute, or how fast it took to get there?
They're definitely related. Ultimately, the pace of innovation, we'll go back to an old Elonism, the pace of innovation is the only thing that matters. And the speed with which xAI is catching up to OpenAI, if they can continue at that speed, and whether it's development of the models or whether it's development of the supercomputers, that really indicates right now that although xAI is still technically behind, they're accelerating at a rate that it looks to be almost inevitable for them to not only catch, but then surpass OpenAI in the frontier leadership position of artificial intelligence development, specifically in the area of large language models. And then we'll see kind of as they explore multimodal and all sorts of different areas of, essentially these black box digital native artificial intelligence machines that are not necessarily physically embodied like Tesla's full self-driving. So that is pretty incredible. I mean, like you said, Sean would have estimated it takes 4 years. There were people that quoted them that they could do it in a year to a year and a half. I think if you just say roughly, maybe it would have taken them 2 years if they had outsourced this. That's still, if they completed it in 4 months compared to 2 years, that's 5 times faster than it could have been done by other players, because most people are not going to either have the guts or the confidence to try and build one of these supercomputer clusters essentially in-house. Definitely managing the entire project in-house, and working directly with people that know exactly how to do some very complicated things in order to fast track this. To my knowledge, we've never seen OpenAI coordinate the construction of a supercomputer cluster that is anywhere near this size, much less anywhere near this fast. And so because they're relying on a kind of slow, large industrial player like Microsoft to kind of coordinate this portion of the work, that imposes a constraint on OpenAI that xAI just doesn't have. And because Elon has not only the vertical integration DNA to be willing to do something like this, but also the ability to access the funds to pay for it, then that is a major key strategic advantage that xAI has. And yeah, for them to look and say, hey, okay, we've got this one. Now we're going to build another 50,000 H200 cluster, which will essentially double the overall training size, because an H200 is just 2 H100s basically side by side. We're already at one of the largest clusters. We're going to double that very quickly.
In a few months.
And if we could develop essentially GPT-4 level functionality in less than a year from starting xAI, we should be, we know that OpenAI is working on some pretty amazing stuff that's far beyond what they've shown us with GPT-4. But Elon's saying, yeah, if they don't release it by December, we're going to have something that's way better than GPT-4 that we're willing to put out into the public domain. And that's not even to say what they plan to release. If they release Grok 2 in August and they're going to release Grok 3 in December, okay, is Grok 4 coming in February? Is it coming in June?
Right.
Regardless of whatever it is, the ability of OpenAI to keep up with whatever that pace is looking to be less and less encouraging, at least from an outside perspective. And obviously, as Elon fans, we're biased, but just looking at the size of the cluster and the speed at which they're releasing product, it's hard to argue against.
Yeah. And this is, again, very, very important for Tesla, because this is going to power the brains. This is, artificial general intelligence for the bot. It's going to make you be able to communicate to your car, have the car understand, give you information, great robotaxi experience. So this is Brett Winton of ARK Invest. He posted this saying, probably a 4-year build if relying on power data center vendors, contractors, and consultants. xAI got it done in 4 months. Given the dramatic performance improvement rate in AI, velocity and urgency is a key determinant of success. It's a race. And these guys, xAI is one of the fastest, if not the fastest. If you were a normal company, you would need to rely on vendors. They would take 4 years to do that. Elon confirmed that. He said the most optimistic, unrealistic quotes we receive were 12 to 18 months. Like for them, that's like, yeah, sure, you're going to get in 12 to 18. We'll do it ourselves. And we got it done in 4. So this is the difference between Tesla, Elon, and others, is that Elon basically this is it. This company knows how to build factories, manufacturing, and they can do this. They got the talent. So,
well, and once again, I think it just goes back to show the strategic importance in Elon's mind of the AI piece. Like, he's much more focused right now on building AI factories at Tesla than car factories at Tesla. There's a reason for that. And he's right. I think Brett zeroing in on the fact that there are network effects that are going to be in place, that whoever is first doesn't just win by a small margin. They potentially win by a large margin, that the advantages of arriving first at some of these technologies imply large scale advantages over time. And so this speed does in fact matter. And that has consumed the bulk of Tesla's efforts and their cash. Like, there's a number of different ways to measure this. But it is clearly the primary, almost sole focus of Elon and management at this point in time.
Yeah. And this is, they caught up to LLM chats pretty quickly. They're right at the top today, but now the race is going to be on video data, and it's going to be races on real-time data, which only Elon has. Elon has it through X, real-time data, and then no one else has access to that data point. And then you've got video, which Elon has. And so he's going to be able to train this in video more than all the others can. So we'll see where this goes. Thank you so much, Hans. I appreciate it. Follow Hans on his YouTube channel, Hans C. Nelson. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.